Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Kagem. Okay you guys, today we're going to be talking about something which I had been working on for ages before I went traveling to Paris, and then when I got my visa I was like, I'm going to do this video when I go back to TZ, because I also wanted to get a feel for the boutiques. I have so much to say. We're going to talk about the Mini Kelly, the Kelly Pochette, the Kelly 32, and finally the Constance. Okay, so first of all, let's start off with the Mini Kelly. Most of you know how I feel about resale. I feel like I do need to talk about resale though, because I feel like resale kind of shows us the trends that we need to know about certain bags and just luxury products in general. When it pertains to resale, big H resale is not for me. I would just rather, you know, take my chances in Paris and try the best to score there. That's just me personally. I know that for some of you, you don't want to play the game. Frankly, those of you who don't want to play the game and rather go resale, respect. I have so much respect for that, because I know like the game playing is just so much work. You know, it feels like a job, frankly, I think at some point. So I noticed something super interesting. I'm not going to link to the listings from Fashion File, okay, but you can go search them up yourself. But I'm going to walk you through some listings here. Look at this Mini Kelly. This is in Chevre Mysore. It's in rose lipstick. It's a beautiful color. And it is obviously a Cellier, because the Mini Kellys are Celliers. And it's going for $32,500 US. I thought this was really interesting because this is a 2017 bag, which I thought was quite interesting, to be fair. I mean, it's a 5-year-old handbag. You know, it's a 5-year-old bag. And Fashion File says it's new. They say that it has protective plastic stickers intact. It's from 2017. Whomever put this on Fashion File, we don't know how Fashion File got it. Fashion File do have personal shoppers. They may have purchased it from another a reseller, or they may have actually just gotten it directly from a client. Let's assume that this is a client who has you know, put this Mini Kelly up for sale. I mean, to be honest with you, that means that this person has just had this Mini Kelly for 5 years with the plastic stickers intact, okay, and just holding it and holding it and holding it and hoping that the price will go up. And obviously the price has gone up. I've told you guys before how I feel about the Mini Kelly situation and the big H bubble. I do think it's a bubble. I am not going to be speculating in this bubble. If you guys want to go and speculate, go do that. Everyone has to kind of, you know, we're all adults here. Everyone has to be in charge of their own money and know how they're going to do things. I think it's quite risky, but 32,500 I think is just way too much for the Mini Kelly at resale. So I think the Mini Kelly prices at resale, in my opinion, are reaching a bubble status. A few months ago, I don't even remember what month it was, I looked up the price of the Mini Kelly in Epsom and Chevre Mysore and Fashion File. I was just looking at the USD prices just to get a feel for what is the US dollar price at resale for like ones that are new. So like this is, they consider this a new because it has the protective stickers on it. I mean, it's highly unlikely this person took the bag out with the stickers on it. You look, you know, look really weird. I was looking at the price a few months ago. I was seeing prices more like $25,000, $26,000, like brand new in box, like a Mini Kelly that's straight from FSH, okay? Now we're at $32,500. The fact that it's a 5-year-old bag is kind of irrelevant because the condition of the bag is new. Okay, fine, fair enough. It's a beautiful color. I don't think that it's worth $32,500. I don't think the Mini Kelly, in my opinion, is worth that at resale. It's just my opinion. Obviously, the market thinks that, and it's as I'm looking here, it's in 3 people's carts as I'm looking, so that's fine. I don't remember whether it's Epsom or Chevre, but I think in the US it's $8,550 as a store offer in Epsom or Chevre. I forgot which leather, because obviously the Mini Kelly comes in Epsom, comes in Chevre Mysore, it comes in ostrich, and it comes in Nilo Croc, and I believe it's either $8,550 US, something like that. Now in the EU, I believe the Epsom price is like 5,900, although there probably will be a price increase, so we should know like the new prices soon. Okay, now I want to show you another Mini Kelly that, in my opinion, again, I think is just overpriced. We know that Fashion File do inflate the prices of their bags, you know, we know that, but a lot of resellers do, to be honest with you. This one is in lime, beautiful color. They say here Fashion File says it's in excellent condition. Now this is interesting. Fashion File says excellent condition, protective plastic stickers are intact. It has a faint scratches. Inside it does have scuffs. So that means that the person, probably did use it, to be fair. Maybe they did use it, once or twice, they were using it, but they left the stickers on. Okay, fine. It is, I think they say here 2020. By the way, Fashion File, for some listings, don't write the stamp or the year, and for some listings they do. I caught them, okay, and I put it in the group because I did catch a listing that didn't have the year on it or the stamp, which I think is so sneaky, because it's like them trying to protect the VIPs who are putting these bags on the market, okay, but whatever. This one does and that listing did, but a lot of their listings for the Mini Kelly don't, so if they've been taken down, that's fine, but I was keeping an eye and I was like, I've caught you putting Mini Kellys on there that don't have the year or the stamp, so we know when it was made. So this is 2020. Now, let's talk about this one. Again, I think this is a lot of money. Don't forget that you kind of know when you're in a bubble where colors that, frankly, a Mini Kelly in lime. Lime is not a popular color in the big H universe. Many people do not like this color. By the way, I think it's a beautiful color. I think it's so beautiful. I would wear it. I actually think this color would be very popular in Africa. It's beautiful, bright and vibrant. Many people don't like this color. They think it's just too much. It's just too overwhelming. Even in a small size like the 20 centimeter, Mini Kelly, that is kind of the sign that we are in a Mini Kelly / big H bubble, because even colors which frankly are not popular, no one's going to come here and tell me that lime is a popular color that everyone is talking about in Facebook groups and forums. The color is not popular. End of. When an unpopular color is doing really well at resale, so much so that it's a $34,000, because here it says 33,980, so let's just say 34,000 US dollars, that is a sign that there's definitely a bubble, okay? And what that means is that people are willing to buy because people are so desperate to get their hands on the Mini Kelly. So let's talk about that. Do I think it's worth, if you're watching, by the way, most of you who watch my channel, almost all of you who watch my channel, you're all very successful, you're very rich, honey. So the question is not about the money, because you all have the money. So the question is, should you go and buy a Mini Kelly at resale instead of, going one-to-one in your home boutique or going to play the roulette in Paris? Because I don't even see it as a lottery. It's a roulette to me, okay? Gamblers go to Paris. I'm a gambling kind of girl, so I don't have a problem with that. What should you do? Well, let's talk about the Mini Kelly situation in Paris. After speaking to a lot of people, speaking to a lot of you, and from what I saw on the ground, in my opinion, the Mini Kelly, to be blunt, just my opinion, the feeling that I get is the Mini Kelly, even as a Parisian offer, is very difficult to get. It's not a shoe-in. They get asked for Mini Kellys every single day. Like, every single day that people are going to FSH, Several, George Sank asking for Mini Kellys. I think if you're going to be offered a Mini Kelly, it's just based off you and the SA hitting it off, and obviously the bag being there, which it will be there, and them kind of vibing you, liking you, and hate to say it, but it's like Rumpelstiltskin in the background, like, say my name, Kagem, say my name. We all know it's there. It's the elephant in the room. Yes, it does exist at FSH. Yes, there is a prison game. No, I'm not going to talk about it on my YouTube channel. If you want to talk about it privately, we can do that, because I'm also trying to be a little bit discreet. In terms of the Mini Kelly, okay, I think that the prices are inflated at the moment, and I think if you can, try and go one-to-one in your home boutique. It's very difficult to get it as an offer. Please don't tell me about influencers who've got Mini Kellys. It's not the same thing. You can't compare someone who is very successful and wealthy but private to an influencer. An influencer getting a Mini Kelly is not the same, okay, as someone with, most of you, who watch my channel, you're very successful. Many of you are retired. Many of you, you have bags and bags and bags of money. But you shouldn't feel bad if you see an influencer get a Mini Kelly and you're like, okay, well, how come I've been waiting for a Mini Kelly and I haven't got one? It's not the same thing. We all know Big H do have a, sort of unofficial influencer policy, from which the Mini Kelly seems to be the marquee handbag for that. This is my opinion, but I think if you pay attention on social media, you can kind of see that. It's not the same thing at all. I think if you can go one-to-one in your home boutique, I think you should do that. I think if you want to go and play the lottery in Paris, Godspeed. I will be the first person to cheer you on, because I'm going to be going back there in a few months, so I would love to hear that you were successful. I do think the exotic Mini Kellys technically speaking might be a little bit easier to score, but even then it's not a guarantee. The bag itself is very popular. Everyone's trying to score the bag, whether it's Nilo, Croc, whether it's Ostrich, whether it's Epsom or Chevron Mysore. To be honest, all of them will be difficult to get. So I think it's just worth kind of maybe creating a plan. I feel like if maybe 6-7 months ago, the prices at resale of the Mini Kelly for a brand new Mini Kelly were like 25,000, 26,000. I feel like that one to me was a little bit not okay, but I could have dealt with that. But I think 3 times the price, I think is excessive. You might as well just go 1-to-1 in your local store and then get the Mini Kelly, you know, without having to pay a massive premium. You probably wouldn't even spend, even with the price of the Mini Kelly, you probably wouldn't even spend like 34. You probably wouldn't spend 34k or 40,000, because the price of the Mini Kelly, we're heading to 40,000 for a bag which doesn't fit some people's phones. Broadly speaking, what's the like, how much are people spending? I mean, I think it depends where you are. We're not going to really talk about wish list countries. If you're in a wish list country, it's not the same thing. I don't think you can compare scoring a Mini Kelly in the United Kingdom to, say, scoring a Mini Kelly in Dubai or Shanghai. Like, if you check out like a lot of the forums about Dubai and you follow like the tea in the Middle East when it pertains to Big H, people are going 5-to-1, 4-to-1. 3-to-1 to score in the UAE, you know. So it's not, in order to score a Mini Kelly, it's not the same thing, I think, as going on a wish list situation. Even in the UK or in Switzerland, which is also a wish list, yes, you will have to spend something, but eventually you're going to get the bag. Whereas in the really competitive places like Shanghai, like Singapore, like the UAE, San Francisco, Palo Alto, I mean, getting a Mini Kelly where people are going 3-to-1, 4-to-1, you know, it's going to be hard. It's not necessarily going to be easy. So I think it's just really important to kind of take note of that. Okay, the next bag that we're going to talk about, where I noticed some really interesting trends, is the Kelly Pochette. The Kelly Pochette was released in 2004. It was designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier when he was working at the brand. The bag, I mean, this is a bag that's going to be 20 years old in 2 years' time. I mean, this bag has been around for some time, honey. You know, she's the Mini Kelly's older sister, but I actually think that the real kind of hidden gem of Big H at the moment is the Kelly Pochette. I'm going to tell you why. You can't find this girl on resale, boo-boo. You can't find her, honey, okay? If you go on Fashion File, you'll see more than 70 listings for the Mini Kelly. Like, you'll see the Mini Kelly in all kinds of colors and finishes. Go and look for the Kelly Pochette of Fashion File today. Tell me if you see more than 10 listings for the Kelly Pochette. You won't, because today, as in Saturday, the 29th of January, I saw 1 listing. I saw lots of Kelly cuts. There are tons of Kelly cuts, okay, waiting to be purchased. But there was 1 Kelly Pochette used, okay. I think it was also a 5-year handbag, okay. And yeah, $16,000. I mean, it's a phenomenal sum of money. I don't know how much the Kelly Pochette is brand new in the boutique in the US. However, I believe that because now it's only made in Swift. I think before they used to make it in Epsom, but it's just Swift now. I think in the EU, it's like 5,000 euros as a store offer, something like that. The Ostrich price is like 8,500. I think the Croc price is probably going to be something like, you know, maybe something like 15,000, maybe 17,000 euros, something like that. It won't be more than the Mini Kelly, and the Mini Kelly Nilo Croc price is 21,000 euros. So the Kelly Pochette, what's going on? The Kelly Pochette can't be found at resale. You can't find it. You can find 1 or 2 listings. I found 1 on Fashion File. I went on Anne's Fabulous Finds. I found 1 which is already on layaway. Okay, so when you go on her website, when you click on it, you guys can just go in your own time. I'm not going to link it. When you click on it, it literally says she's already put on layaway. So you can't even, you know, make an inquiry because someone's already paying for it in installments, right? And on her website, she had 1 with the similar specs to the one on Fashion File, and she's selling that one for $20,000, and someone is already sorting it out, you know, on layaway. What does that tell you? Well, first of all, that tells me that even though the Mini Kelly is the hotter of the 2, she's the hot young sister, you get me, the Kelly Pochette is going to go the distance and probably will just be, we will still be here for ages. And I think the benefit of the Kelly Pochette, in my opinion, is, first of all, pretty much everyone's phone is going to fit in there. Some people's Mini Kellys will fit in there. The Kelly Pochette can also be used for like high You can use it for like all kinds of like evening events. Yes, you can technically use the Mini Kelly as well for evening events. But while I know many people are like, oh, the Kelly Pochette's not crossbody. I mean, the Kelly Pochette isn't really made to be crossbody. It's not made to be like a bag that you wear during the day. I think that this is the hidden gem at the moment at Big H if you can get it as a store offer. The situation with the Kelly Pochette is the Kelly Pochette is a Quota bag worldwide. Some of you have told me before, no, it's not a Quota bag. That's not true. I want you, if you say it's not a Quota bag, go to your Big H boutique tomorrow, tell them you want a Kelly Pochette this year, tell them you want a Kelly 28, and you want a Birkin, you want all three this year. We'll see if they'll give you the KP as well. Okay, they're gonna look at you like you have a cone on your head. They're gonna be like, do you know what the KP is? And because the Kelly Pochette isn't as desirable at the moment by social media, to me, I think the bag is beautiful and I think it's very desirable in any color, in any finish, in any leather. I think it looks beautiful and luxurious, but it's not as popular because the Mini Kelly is like such an Instagram handbag. I think that those of you who, when everyone's going towards the Mini Kelly, I want to see what's going on over here. I feel like those of you who want to stand out more, and if you can get the Kelly Pochette as a store offer, I think it's worth looking at it because it's holding its own at resale. I mean, on Anne's Fabulous Find, she's already found a buyer for $20,000 for a bag that is not new. Okay, and there's no way that the Kelly Pochette is going to be more expensive than the Mini Kelly. So if the Mini Kelly in Epsom or Chevre, I forgot which leather, is $8,550 in the US, there's no way that the Kelly Pochette is more expensive than that. And she's already found someone, to buy it on layaway. And again, like I said, salute to the people who are just going for it and they don't have time for the games. I actually respect the people who aren't game playing. I respect you guys so much. So I think that the Kelly Pochette is worth it. I've told you before, I don't think bags are investments. I don't see them as investments. I think if you love the Kelly Pochette and you do have purchase history at the Stallion, I think it's worth kind of just looking into seeing if you can get it. It's a very difficult bag to get. I think it goes without saying, but I might as well just repeat it now. With the exception of Paris, you can't walk into any boutique in the world without purchase history and ask for the Kelly Pochette. That's not going to happen. There was a really interesting thread on the Purse Forum I think it was for the Switzerland boutiques, because I've told you before, my older sister lives in Switzerland, so I'm always following what's going on in Big H Switzerland. And someone asked, could they walk into any of the Swiss boutiques? I think there are a bunch of boutiques in Switzerland, even beyond Geneva and Zurich. I think they have a lot of stores there. And they were like, can I buy a Mini Kelly? And they were looking at her in the thread. People were confused, you can't just walk in without purchase history and buy a Mini Kelly. And so I think someone in that thread had said that they had to do a special order, and that's how most people actually get the Mini Kelly. Most people ask to make a special order, and then they get the special order from Paris, and then they get their Mini Kelly. That's why you see so many HSS Mini Kellys on the resale market, because so few of them are store offers. So I think if you can get a store offer Mini Kelly or a store offer Kelly Pochette, I think it's worth going for it. I think if you can get a store offer Kelly Pochette this year, you are winning, trust me, because everyone is on the Mini Kelly hype train, and that's fine. But I think the Kelly Pochette is going to go the distance. The Mini Kelly is a few years old now. God, I'm trying to remember the year that the bag was released. I think it was 2016. I don't remember. It was the mid 2010s the bag was released. But I think that the Kelly Pochette, in my opinion, is going to go the distance. Now, don't get me wrong. When I go back to Paris, I would definitely ask for it, because I feel like you should just ask for the Mini Kelly anyway. But I think that the Kelly Pochette will go the distance. The next bag I wanted to kind of update you guys about that I had been looking into is the Kelly 32. I feel like the Kelly 32 has just been ignored, honey, okay? Everyone wants a Kelly 25, a Kelly 28 from the brand. I still think the Kelly 32 is a fabulous size. I still think it looks really, really good. There are lots of Kelly 32s in bright colors on lots of resale sites. There was one that I saw in Fashion File. It was, I think, in lime. As much as I love bright colors, that thing must be massive, okay? And it's proper bright, it's bright, okay? Now, people are selling their Kelly 32s, those resale prices are, they're not particularly high, obviously, because no one really likes that size. People don't want to purchase those large bags. No one's interested in buying large bags right now. No one cares. To be completely blunt with you, no one's checking for the size. I think if you're open-minded, I actually think the Kelly 32 looks great in exotic. I think it looks really good in alligator or croc if you're open-minded. I think it looks great in that size. I think it looks really good in the neutrals. And you know I'm not a neutral person. I think it looks very, very good. I think even if it's your personal style, it could look good in any of the big H pinks. It could look really nice if that's your like personal style and if that's something that you're open-minded to. I think if you're open-minded to the Kelly 32, as a store offer this year, I feel like you could probably even go one-to-one. Those of you who are watching and you don't have an SA and you're in a similar situation to me, okay, and obviously there is an inventory situation at the moment, but it's not going to last forever. I mean, by the middle of the year, you know, the situation with inventory and supply will be sorted out. Frankly, before then, like by March, April, like on a global scale, I do think that the Kelly 32, if you can get it as an offer, you should take it. I think in some boutiques, you could maybe even go one-to-one and get it. You know, everyone talks about the Birkin 35. The Kelly 32, I think one reason why people really don't like the bag is because, particularly when you go in groups and social media, when it's opened, it doesn't look as desirable as the Kelly 25 and the Kelly 28. And we were talking about this in the group about, you know, the fact that, you know, people just like the Birkin and the Kelly when they're open. No one's checking for these bags when they're closed. And the Kelly 32, like, honestly, even when the Kelly 32 is opened, it doesn't have that really glossy Vogue look that the Kelly 25 and the Kelly 28 have, but I still think it's worth a look, particularly in those kind of darker colors. For me personally, I like the Kelly 32 in the gray family. If I was to get a Kelly 32 as a store offer, I would look for it in gray. So a taupe, you know, like for example, I'm thinking of like a taupe or, you know, gris asphalt, or if you could get it in gris pearl, for example, in exotic, I think it would really be worth a look. So I would love to know what you guys think about that. And please, before we start talking about the Constance, please consider fully subscribing to my channel, hitting notifications, giving this video a like. And now I want to talk to you finally about the Constance. Okay, so a few days ago, there was a really interesting post in this one Facebook group that's dedicated to Big H. Someone posted and said that their SA told them, literally like a few days ago, that the Constance is a quota bag in the US. It set off like a hive of discussion in this one group about whether the Constance is a quota bag, yes or no. Is the Constance a quota bag in America? Now, obviously I don't live in America. You know, I do this page as a hobby. I have looked into this. I've spoken to a lot of you. I have researched this. Broadly speaking, what I understand about the US market is the answer should be no, it's not a quota bag. But the answer from what I can see is it depends where you are. So in some markets, the really ultra competitive markets, the Constance, you know, all of a sudden she's looking like she's Beyonce. Okay, and she's a whole quota bag. And in other markets where it's maybe not that competitive, like in a sort of normal year, it's not a quota bag. However, globally, I think the US is an outlier. Globally speaking, it is generally accepted that the Constance is a quota bag. I'm going to list a few places. I'm going to tell you where I saw the information because I don't want anyone being like, that's not true. Okay, like, I basically cross-referenced things that I saw in groups to things that I saw in the purse forum and generally accepted these are the places where the Constance is a quota bag. Canada, the United Kingdom, most of the countries in the EU, the Constance is a quota bag. So I'm pretty sure it is a quota bag in France as well. And it would make sense because obviously Hermes is a French company. So in their home turf, you know, they would make sure that it is a quota bag. Singapore, Australia, mainland China, Hong Kong. And in Hong Kong specifically, the Mini Lindy is a quota bag in Hong Kong. And in a lot of Asian markets, broadly speaking, one of you was telling me that the Mini Ruly is a quota bag. That's true, because I saw a bunch of people in the Hong Kong thread on the press forum talking about how much spend they would need to do in order to get the Mini Ruly. Even the Mini Ruly in some places in Asia is a quota bag. So you can see that Big H, they have a general accepted view that the Birkin, the Kelly, and the Constance are quota bags. Now, in one of the biggest big H market in the world, the US, the Constance seems that it wasn't a quota bag for the longest period of time. However, in different markets, it is a quota bag. But in the rest of the world, the Constance is a quota bag, okay? Now, my feeling on this is I actually think we're going to see them make a sort of general policy about the Constance, meaning that, and I think this is where things are moving. And this person who posted that in this group, they were not the only person who was saying, like, oh, you know, like they were not the only person who was saying, like, you know, that the Constance is a quota bag. A bunch of other people were like, hey, I'm in this location, my essay said the same thing. I'm in this location, my essay said the same thing. I think that we are moving to a space where in the US, the Constance will broadly speaking be a quota bag, meaning let's say in a year, you know, you get 2 bags a year, right? Let's say you're in the US, you think the Constance isn't a quota bag, right? So you're like, I want a Birkin 30 this year, I want a Kelly 28, and I want the Constance 18. Well, if the Constance is a quota bag, you're not gonna get those 3 bags unless you are a big spender. If you're a big spender, maybe what they might do is they might say, you get a Birkin, you get a Kelly, and then you're gonna get the Constance as like, you know, like a bonus. Well, I don't really see that happening anymore because the competition is just too fierce. It's actually really clever kind of enforcing this rule that the Constance is a quota bag. That's going to be really interesting in the US market. If they can execute that and they can do it, that's going to make the Birkin and the Kelly even more exclusive, because now people are like, whoa, I can't even get a Constance. You know, people are going to be like, you know, I'm even trying to get the Constance. Now, my feelings on the Constance have changed dramatically. The bag itself is actually stunning. So I think if you watch some of my Parisian vlogs, remember I told you, if you didn't, let me just quickly tell you, the Constance I saw at FSH was, I think it was Nata or Cray, and it had an exotic buckle. Beautiful, absolutely stunning, like stunning. And I saw a lizard Constance at Sevra. Now, out of all of the exotic leathers, I personally don't really like the way Big H do lizard. It's just, I don't know why, I'm just not really a massive fan. However, when I saw the exotic lizard Constance at Sevra in blue, don't forget, I don't like blue at all. It's my least favorite color. I was blown away. A beauty, an absolute beauty, okay? The bag is beautiful. I think when you see it in real life, it's completely different than seeing it in photographs and pictures. It really comes to life. I can see why that Big H would want to kind of create a sort of uniform policy for the Constance so that it's fair worldwide. It's not really fair if in a bunch of countries in Europe, if in Asia, in the UAE, it's a quota bag, but in some parts of the US, it's not a quota bag. I think it should be fair for everyone. Now, these are just rumors and groups. We're just, you know, we're just chatting about it. This is just my little YouTube video. I'm not like a Big H, you know, I'm not the oracle of Big H. It's just my opinion. But even if your essay tells you it's not a quota bag, I feel like they're moving to make it one globally, like for the entire world. If you think about the shenanigans that are going on at the moment with the Evelyn and the Picotin, like those 2 bags are like invisible quota bags. They're basically quota bags in all but name. They're incredibly hard to get. In some markets, you know, if you walk in and you're like, hello, you know, I'd like to buy a Picotin, they're going to look at you like you have a turtle on your head. They're going to be like, do you know how things go here? You can't just walk in and ask for that bag. I think we are moving to this kind of model where bags like the Evelyn and the Picotin are not bags that you can just walk in and ask for anymore. Some people have even said they're frightened to go into a boutique and ask for a Picotin because they're worried they're going to be told, no, you have to be on the list, no, you have to do this and you have to do that. Big H are doing that, I think, to make the brand even more exclusive. You know, a lot of you have said, you know, that they like resellers, that they care about resellers. I don't think any brand that is traded on the stock exchange in Europe and that makes the bulk of their money through, you know, the leather goods part of their business can say that they like resellers taking money away from their business. I know a lot of you said that it enhances the value of the brand. I don't think so. I mean, I don't feel like the resale market enhances the value of the brand. They actually are losing so much. I mean, imagine a Mini Kelly's going for $34,000, but the resale is like under $9,000. I mean, I don't think so. I think that the situation is they're trying to find ways to make their bags even more exclusive. If you have a worldwide policy where the Constance in every single jurisdiction is a quota bag, that makes the Birkin and the Kelly even more desirable, in my opinion, because now it's like, whoa, like, you have these 3 bags. It's like, whoa, like now what do I do? Because I feel like a lot of the times, like many people felt like the Constance was like a consolation prize, like it was given to people who Big H didn't want to give Birkins and Kellys to. But if now the Constance is like seen as a quota bag, people aren't really gonna see it like that anymore. I think that the Birkin and the Kelly are definitely the more desirable ones, and those are the bags that people want. But I think the Constance in the right finish, in the right color, after having seen the colors now up close, like in front of me, my view on the bag has changed. And honestly, of course, I would still prefer to get a Birkin or a Kelly in Paris in April. I would dream and hope for that offer. But I mean, if it was in Rose Sakura, I mean, if I'm being offered like the smallest Constance size in Rose Sakura, I would be open-minded. So I think broadly speaking, if you're in the US, the Constance isn't a quota bag, but she is, depending on where you are, depending on the situation this year. Big H want to make their business even more desirable. You make it even more desirable by making 3 quota bags, and it's like this trifecta of bags that are very, very hard to get. It goes without saying, if you're in Asia, you know what time it is. The Constance has been a quota bag. The Mini Lindy is a quota bag. I mean, the shenanigans going on in some of the boutiques in Asia, the Asian boutiques are so competitive. Like the competition there is fierce, and it's really, really big. So yeah, I just wanted to just kind of touch on that. We'll see what happens. These are just rumors. It's likely that some of you who live in the US, that maybe the Constance won't be a quota bag, and it's not going to happen. But in all other parts of the world, the Constance is a quota bag. Big H allow the people who manage the boutiques regionally and the store managers, they give them a lot of leeway to decide based on the demand of the location. So there might be a store manager in the US who says, no, for my boutique, the Constance isn't a quota bag, and you can get it after a little bit of spend, but it won't affect you getting a Birkin or a Kelly. But there might be someone else saying, no, the Constance is a quota bag. The Constance is desirable. So I think in the right colors like Cray, Nata, Rose Sakura, you know, those types of colors, like the colors that people really, really love, I think it definitely, you know, comes across like very desirable, and it definitely becomes a bag that people want. That doesn't mean that people want it more than the Birkin or the Kelly. Ultimately, people want to buy Birkins or Kellys, but the situation that the Constance has and the sort of clout that the bag is having, the bag is getting more and more and more clout as the competition to score bags becomes tougher and tougher and tougher. I don't remember, I mean, honestly, even bags like the Mini Ruly, I mean, even the Mini Ruly, like when the Mini Ruly is on the website, it's gone, okay? It's crickets for that bag in like 1 second because people just snap it up. I'd love to know what you think about this thing that people are talking about in groups about the Constance being a quota bag. Someone actually posted the receipts from her essay, and she was like, look, don't DM me. I liked her because she was like, don't DM me, don't fight me. This is what my essay said a few days ago. The essay was like, yeah, Big H has made the Constance a quota bag for the US. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. So yeah, tell me what you think about everything that we've discussed in this video. What do you think about the Mini Kelly? Do you think it's a bubble? Would you get the Kelly Pochette as a store offer? Those of you who have a good standing at the store, I would get the KP, honey, because the KP is looking desirable. I think the Kelly 32 still has a lot of I think that there's still so much to give, and I feel like people ignore that size because they hate the size. But I think if you have a busy lifestyle, I think if you have like a busy work life, like you're always going to work and you're very active at the office, I think it would make a really nice office size bag. Honestly, I think it's a great size. And definitely the Constance, I have to say my feelings on the bag have changed. I still want to get a Birkin or a Kelly. The Constance isn't on my list, but I would be open-minded if it came in the right colors. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. I'd be so honored if you would consider fully subscribing and hitting notifications, like I said. Also follow me on Instagram. I did a poll on my Instagram. I asked you guys, I said, hey guys, like, you know, is the Mini Kelly still that B, or are we tired of her? 60% of you said she's still that B word. Okay, so you have spoken, I'm listening. I think she's still that girl, but I don't know, man. Is the Mini Kelly ever gonna fall off? Like, have we reached the fall off point? Like, I don't know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week in my next video.